WWE erupts as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins ends the Shield in an epic SummerSlam main event. 12 years, one betrayal that fans still argue about at bars, and a rivalry that finally reached its boiling point in Minneapolis. What happened in that main event was not just another championship match, it was two men closing a chapter that has followed them since the very beginning of their careers. Stick around, because by the end of this video you will understand exactly why grown wrestling fans were tearing up during a fist bump. Before we get into it, go ahead and subscribe and tap that notification bell. Wrestling Rush News brings you these emotional gut punches the moment they happen, and this one deserves your full attention. Let us set the stage properly, because context is everything here. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins entered WWE together as two-thirds of the Shield, alongside Dean Ambrose, and for years they ran roughshod over the entire roster as an unstoppable unit. But wrestling history is written in betrayals, and in 2014, Rollins turned on his brothers with a steel chair, shattering the Shield and setting the stage for over a decade of unfinished business. Here is the wild statistic that made this match must-see television. Despite being widely regarded as the most dominant singles star of his generation, Reigns had never actually beaten Rollins in a one-on-one match at a major show. Think about that for a second. The Tribal Chief, a man who has conquered nearly everyone put in front of him, had an actual kryptonite, and that kryptonite wore a man bun and called himself the Visionary. So when these two collided at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship, this was not just about gold. This was about Reigns finally slaying a ghost that had haunted him for over a decade. And folks, WWE did not just deliver a good match, they delivered what many are already calling a Match of the Year candidate. This was billed as a love letter to the Shield, and it absolutely lived up to that promise from the opening bell. The match started as a technical battle before quickly spilling out into the crowd, because apparently these two decided the ring simply was not big enough to contain over a decade of resentment. Reigns caught Rollins attempting a spear through the barricade and instead drove him through an announce table with a devastating powerbomb. If you think that settled things, think again, because Rollins got right back up and returned the favor, powerbombing Reigns through the opposite announce table just moments later. It is like watching two heavyweight boxers trade knockdown blows, except somehow neither one stays down. Back in the ring, Rollins connected with a pedigree and went for the cover, but Reigns kicked out, refusing to let the story end there. From that point forward, this match turned into a full-blown chess match, both competitors searching for any small advantage. Rollins hit a superplex, one of the most dangerous moves in wrestling, and Reigns responded by locking in a Kimura. Then came a moment that had long-time fans holding their breath. Rollins grabbed a steel chair, the exact weapon he used to betray Reigns and Ambrose all those years ago. For a split second, it looked like history might repeat itself. But before Rollins could even think about swinging it, Reigns caught him with a quick punch. Rollins looked at that chair, clearly tempted, clearly remembering what it meant, and then cast it aside entirely. That single choice told you everything about where these two men stood emotionally, because sometimes the most powerful move in wrestling is the one you choose not to make. The final stretch of this match was an all-out war. Rollins avoided a spear attempt and answered with a stomp, but Reigns kicked out yet again, proving he was not going anywhere without a fight. Reigns even resorted to trash talk mid-match, reminding Rollins that he would always be number two to him, which honestly is exactly the kind of petty energy we expect from the Tribal Chief even during his most emotional matches. Rollins fired back with a spear of his own off the ropes, but still could not put Reigns away. Finally, after everything these two threw at each other, Reigns unleashed 3 consecutive spears, finishing Rollins off and picking up the win clean, with zero interference, zero shenanigans, just pure one-on-one victory. That detail matters immensely, because it silences years of criticism that Reigns needed help to beat his biggest rivals. But the true emotional gut punch came after the bell rang. Reigns extended his fist toward Rollins, a callback to the exact gesture these two shared back when they rode together as brothers in the Shield. Rollins met him in the center of the ring, and the two shared that quiet, respectful fist bump in front of a roaring crowd. Rollins then left his Shield mask sitting in the middle of the ring, a symbolic closing of a story that started well over a decade ago. It was less a wrestling finish and more a farewell letter written in spears and super kicks. This match accomplished something remarkably rare in wrestling storytelling. It gave two legends a genuine sense of closure while still delivering a fast-paced, physically brutal fight that fans will be talking about for years. Reigns finally conquered his personal white whale, and Rollins, even in defeat, closed the book on his own complicated legacy with dignity intact. Keep this channel bookmarked, because moments like this do not come around often, and we will be here breaking down whatever comes next for both of these legends. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Reigns even resorted to trash talk mid-match, reminding Rollins that he would always be number 2 to him, which honestly is exactly the kind of petty energy we